Recording in progress.
Hello?
Hello,
Hello, Tracy, is that you?
it's me.
Are you in Castle Rock?
I am.
I just came from there. The doors were locked, the lights were off.
Oh, I'm here now.
Oh, okay. I'm about halfway home. I'll be joining a little bit late, but I'll be there.
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't open the office till 9.
Say again?
We don't open the office till 9.
Oh,
So I was here about 7 minutes early.
I must have left just as you came.
Yeah.
Well, I'll sign back in when I get to the house, but I'm only about maybe 15 minutes away, maybe a little longer. So
Okay.
okay.
I will see you when you get back on.
All right. All right.
Okay.
See you then.
Okay. Bye. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How's everyone doing?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't feel too great this morning, so
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah, that's all right.
Okay. Let me share my screen again. I had to unmute myself, but I can't do it when I have my screen shared. All right. Share again. Here we go. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay. So how was yesterday's class? Oh, you guys are all muted.
Oh, did you ask a question?
Oh yeah, I asked how yesterday's class went.
It was good.
And how did you like Gretchen?
It was Jody.
It was
Becky, talk. I don't know if I can't hear you.
Gretchen was Tuesday.
It was
Yeah, that
Jody.
Tuesday.
Oh.
She was all nervous because she's never done it. But I'm sure she did good. All right, do you think we should start? Since you guys are on time? All right, so today we're obviously doing win the seller. Did you guys do win the buyer or something yesterday? Oh, you're muted again, Becky.
I said, I think so, yeah, but like I said, I don't feel good, so I'm not.
Well, it's all a blur. You guys are getting like drinking from a fire hose here.
Yes, for sure.
So today we're going to talk about win the seller. How you guys doing with your daily success system?
Good.
You've been actually doing the stuff and making any progress?
A little.
A little, okay.
Becky is.
I mean, every little bit helps, you know?
Yeah, I've had some good results. I've got a listing appointment tomorrow, and I had a buyer appointment on Monday, so it's been a good week.
Good. So it is working for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So that's good to hear. So the system works, I guess is what my point is.
At least I think I'm going by the system. I'm just, anything I need, I just do it. I'm Jody, how do I do this? Because it's really been baptism by fire with having to write these contracts. So.
No, I get it. So
Yeah.
the agenda for today is we're going to identify a qualified A seller and follow up with an appointment, apply approaches to request an appointment from an A seller, apply the pre-listing criteria to build sellers' confidence, demonstrate your expertise in handling buyer objections to win business. So we're supposed to have a 5-minute conversation. Is there anything in particular, hi Tori, that you want to learn about in regards to this? I'm supposed to break you guys out, but I'm not going to do it. There's only 3 of us, or 3 of you. Oh, Becky, you're muted again.
There we go. I'll just leave it unmuted, but then you have to hear me sneeze and cough, so.
That's okay. So is there anything in particular you guys want to learn today?
What you would have, sorry.
Go ahead, Taylor.
I was just gonna say what you would kind of compile into like a seller's consultation, like packet per se.
Okay. All right, and if at the end you feel like I haven't done that, remind me, Taylor, okay? Like before we do the daily system, success system, remind me, but I did write it down. So that I remember to do that. I mean, I'll tell you guys what I do. Everyone does it differently. That's the thing you have to keep in mind, but I'm gonna tell you guys what I do, because I'll be honest, I don't do the pre-listing packet. I just don't. I send a questionnaire about the house and ask questions about like the area and what are the gems and things like that, but I don't do a pre-listing packet. But everyone's different. So you're gonna find your own system. Okay, guess what time it is? I'm gonna have one of you guys read it this time. Save my voice. How about Sandy?
Oh, okay. While leads are vital to your sales business, sellers listings are critical to your ability to build it to its highest level with the lowest cost and highest net.
Very good. So that's from the MREA. So in the last session, you guys talked about buyers, getting a buyer's contract. And today we're like, the whole objective of this is to end up with a signed listing agreement, right? So first we need to talk about what are A sellers. A qualified seller is one who is able, ready, and willing to do business within the next 14 days. This means they are financially able to complete the transaction now and are ready and motivated to make strategic decisions now and are willing to act now. If you intend to capture the mind share of A sellers, you need to be following up with them daily. So like, obviously, if it's someone that's like 6 months from now, you're not gonna follow up with them daily. But if it's someone that says, I need a list, and it looks like they're gonna do things within the next couple of weeks, you need to be following up with them continually. Our goal for our seller leads is to get an appointment. Does anyone know why listings are so important?
This may be a,
Potentially two pieces of business.
Yep, that's one reason. You're exactly right.
because the house is going to sell, right? That's why they're putting it on the market.
Yes, that's one other reason.
Well, I think we just need sellers and buyers for a healthy market, both.
Well, and the other thing is they'll bring you possibly other listings. So listings bring leads and leverage, right? I'm going to kind of read you what the definition is. We love listings because they bring us not just a commission and the ability to build a relationship for repeat business. Sorry, I kind of got ahead of myself. To build a relationship for repeat and referral business, they bring us the best marketing opportunity in real estate while giving us more control over our time. Have you guys had to work with a buyer yet?
To work with a what? A buyer?
A buyer.
Yes,
It's extremely time consuming.
yes.
So if you have a listing, it's not gonna be quite as treacherous on your time because you're basically going there, possibly doing showings, right? Your initial, all the work is like in the beginning, right? You do the listing appointment, you enter everything in the MLS, right? Possibly do staging, you order your photography and everything. Answering phone calls, things like that, but you're not running around all over, Colorado trying to find a house for people. So people really, really like the listing. There's some experienced agents, they won't even do buyers anymore because it just requires so much time. So let's move on from here. So the virtues of seller listings mean marketing opportunities. We just talked about that. So what's an example of some marketing opportunities?
social media.
Mm-hmm.
The
You
sign
can
in the front
advertise
yard,
your list- I'm sorry, go ahead.
the sign in the front yard.
Mm-hmm. How about farming the neighborhood? Sending out postcards, right? Door knocking. So if you have a listing, you should be door knocking and having an open house. Right? And inviting all the people in the area to come to the open house and let them know what's happening. And also if they know someone who loves the area, send them on over, that kind of thing. They give you a lot of time in front of people, right? Open houses. That's another reason, right? So you can host your own open houses and potentially get other buyers and sellers. So you get a lot more leverage with listings than you do with buyers. Any questions about that? No? Okay. So we talked about the marketing opportunities. We've already talked about the control of your time. Seller listings maximize your per hour compensation, because like I said, you're not running all over the place, right? Volume. So you can obviously have way more listings than you can have buyers because you're one person, right? So if you have 5 buyers, you're not going to really have a life, to be honest with you. You're going to be constantly showing homes and writing contracts and negotiating and counseling, because you're going to be a counselor too. So with a listing though, you're not going to have to do that, right? You're not running. With seller listings, you are on the front end of pricing. You can help dictate kind of where the pricing goes, right? Properly marketed seller listings bring you more business. We've already discussed that as well. All right, so we're gonna look at the seller cycle. It's a 7-step seller service cycle. You talked a lot about models, right?
Mhm.
During
Yep.
this whole thing. This model is proven to reap success with sellers. The success comes, gosh, I can't talk today. The success comes in any market with any seller. So they talk about leads, lead conversion, lead generation, and lead follow-up, right? That's part of it, right? You get a lead, you better be hitting it hard. Because it's possible they're talking to other people. Pre-listing transaction today in particular, right? The listing consultation, servicing and marketing, working with buyers and sellers, offers and negotiations, contract to close, post-close systems. So they're saying day 19, I don't know. So far in Ignite, you've prepared yourself to show your leads the value you bring to their real journey. You've lead generated, you followed up with those leads, and you're qualified them in order to know how your follow-up should be structured, right? Hopefully you're doing that. So if you guys get a lead, what are you automatically doing?
Putting them in
Talk to
command,
them,
Mhm.
and all the stuff.
and then I'm on a smart plan, and then calling them. And if I have an address, I send a note.
What if there's someone how do you treat people that are going to sell in 6 months versus someone that's going to sell in the next couple of weeks? Do you treat them differently?
Oh, heck yes.
So you should be putting anyone who's going to be selling that quickly in an 8x8, right? Where you're like contacting them daily somehow.
And you mentioned it by 8.
I think it's called an 8x8. let me look it up on one of our breaks, but basically you're like doing something with the person every single day. If that makes any sense. But I'll look it up and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Any questions on that? Okay. All right, any ahas? Okay, we'll move on. All right, so now we're going to talk about how to convert those A sellers to listing appointments where you can win the seller. Okay, so I have seen this so many times where people do not respond right away, right? And they're like, oh, I'll get to it tomorrow or later in the day. Don't do that, because there's a possibility, especially if you're buying leads, those leads are probably going to someone else too. You need to be the first one to call, right? Get valid and complete contact information, save it to command, and create an opportunity right away. You put it in command. I'm sorry, Becky, go ahead.
I haven't done that. I need to do that. I just have absolutely no time. But yes, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you need to do it right away.
I know.
I'm really good with it, and I have to say, because I do a lot of TCing, is like just keeping people in command and updating their stages. It does help quite a bit. Determine the motivation to sell so you can speak to it. Are they in a hurry to sell, right? Or are they like, this is what I want and I'm not going to sell unless I get it, which you'll get quite a bit. What will that impact? Depending on how motivated they are to sell.
Time on the market.
Yeah.
It's going to impact your pricing strategy,
Okay.
right? So if someone is like, for instance, if someone is, you're going to see this a lot where they're under contract in a house in Tennessee and they need to sell the house right away because they need the funds from the house in order to close on the other. They're going to be in a more of a hurry to sell than someone that's just like, hey, you know, this is the price I want. I don't care how long it takes, that kind of thing. So your pricing strategy should be completely different with, you know, depending on the scenario. So if someone's like, hey, I need to sell this right away, what's your pricing strategy?
Price lower.
Right. And talk about it. Do you guys remember what the model says about the first 2 weeks the listing is on the market? So you're
No.
never, ever, ever gonna get back the foot traffic you have the first 2 weeks of that weekend it's on the MLS. You'll never get it. I don't care if you drop the price $100,000, you're never gonna see the same traffic. So if you don't price that property correctly right away, then you'll never get that back. And if someone's in a hurry, you need to price it, I would say, more competitively. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I see a lot of, and I've experienced a lot of agents dropping it like almost immediately when it goes on the MLS.
Yep. You know
So-
why?
Probably because of feedback from showings, I would assume.
Correct. That's probably part of it, or they're not getting showings,
Oh, well, yeah, that too.
right? And they're trying to do the 2 week thing. They want to make sure that they're going to get people in,
Mm-hmm.
right? So super important to price it correctly right away. What I usually say to my sellers is price it competitively and the market will dictate kind of where it ends up, right?
Yeah.
But that's really hard for sellers to take. Because in their mind, they're gonna be like, well, this guy down the street got $640,000 and you're telling me I need to price it at 600, right? But
Yeah,
that could have been 3 months ago when the market was completely different. And they don't understand it.
Yeah.
So it's your job to explain kind of what's going on in the market, right?
so
Does anyone have any questions on that part of it?
can I ask a really direct one? Are you there? Oh, can you hear
Yeah.
me? Okay,
Yeah,
I just wanted to ask you a real direct question.
Yeah.
The comps for this house are 535, 835, and 730. So the one that's 730 is almost the exact same square footage. The other one was in July, August, that was 835. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to figure out what I would tell them, you know, as far as, you know, okay, so they've got these, I did comps for them. And I mean, I'm thinking 750. And as soon as I told Jody the area, she said, that's going to be in the 700s, right? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. So, you know, she knows the area.
so there's so much that can help determine where that price ends up. Number one, is the basement finished on one versus the other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it back to a busy road? You could have two houses directly across the street from each other, and one would be $30,000 more valuable, or 50, who knows? Based on the fact that one of them backs to Quebec, let's say,
Oh, yeah.
right? Or it sides a power line. Is one of them updated and another one isn't? Right? Sorry, I have to add Brandon on here. There's so much, comping properties is hard. Wait till you get into like custom, sorry. Custom homes or farm properties, then it's like, it is so hard pricing it correctly. But you have to take into account all those things and look at what the competition's doing. So if it were me and they throw at you the $800 or $800,000 house, number one, did it close?
It took them over a month, like 40 days.
Right. And when was that?
It was in July.
So the market was quite a bit better in July, right? Because the interest rates weren't as high. And it still took them 30 days to sell. The market has changed, and that's why it's important you guys print out like what the market stats are doing so they can see what's going on. So if someone throws that at me, or they'll throw something that about someone else who's active or pending. Number one, let's say someone says, well, across the street, that house is pending and they listed it for 800. What's your response?
We don't know what the contract said. We don't know what it actually went for until it closes. So just because it was at 800 doesn't mean it will close at 800, right? It doesn't. It's pending.
Right.
So when
And can't you find out? You're gonna get that a lot.
And so, Margaret, you said market stats. Are you talking about the ones on RE Colorado? That
You can take those, or there's another really cool site called Altos.
I don't know that one.
It's ALTOS. The thing, keep in mind, they're gonna try to get you to buy it, but run your because they want you to brand it and all this stuff. Run your report and then hit share, and then print the PDF on it. Or download the PDF. Don't buy it. Unless you really want to get fancy and brand everything, but I don't even do it.
Okay.
So what do you say when they ask you, well, you need to find out, what is it pending for?
Oh. Can you find that out?
Well,
You
mean-
can ask,
yeah, but who's gonna tell you?
and why wouldn't they tell you?
Well, there's that whole thing about price, terms, and motivation that's confidential between the buyers and the sellers and their agents, right? And to me, pending is until it closes, it's still a negotiation. Even if the contract has been accepted, you have no idea what's going to go on until down to the closing table. So,
Right.
I mean, that's me. If somebody called me and said, "Hey, you got a pending property and I need to know how much it's on the market for," I would be, "Oh, thank you. And who are you?" So probably said a little bit nicer than that, but I don't know.
Okay, another thing, this is normally why they don't tell you. What if it doesn't close? And
Yeah.
your seller or your buyer would have paid $675, but they're under contract for $650.
Yeah.
Did you just show them all your hands?
Yes.
Or your cards?
Hands, cards, toes. Yeah.
Whatever. I get made fun of because I always say things the wrong way, little quotes.
Yeah.
So that's another big reason why. But you can get kind of clever. So like, if I have a buyer and I'm gonna write an offer, what's one of the things you always do?
Talk to the
You
agent.
call the listing. Yeah, call the listing agent. See what you can find out the motivation, find out if there's anything in particular that seller's looking for other than price, right? And then I always ask, do you have any other offers? Right? So when I have a listing, guess what I say?
A lot.
Yes, well, I don't lie. And you're gonna get a lot of, I don't have any offers in hand, but I've got a lot of interest in threats of offers. Every agent says that,
Hang on,
right?
I gotta get that down on the script. I don't have any offers in hand, but I've got a lot of interested. Okay, I got it.
Right? They all say it. And usually it's BS, but sometimes it isn't. So yeah, that's what you have to tell your buyer. They could be lying, just so you know, but this is what I was told. And usually it seems like they kind of are. So I always ask, how many do you have in hand? Right? Not threats, not interest. How many offers do you have in hand? And as a listing agent, I'm always honest. So I could say none, but I think I might be getting one, or I tell the truth. Right? And then they ask you, let's say I say I have 4 offers, and in one of my listings I had 13. So then I'd say, they're gonna say, well, can you tell me where I need to be? What should your response be?
Make an offer.
Bring me your best offer.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good one.
bring me your best offer. And then as the buyer's agent, they're gonna ask me as the listing agent. Well, what if I went in, let's say the house was listed at 300. I'm gonna go in at 330. Is that gonna be good enough? Right? Or they'll ask you, are there any over asking price? Is it 30,000? Is it this? As a listing agent, what's your job?
Well,
Get
confidential.
the most money, right, for your client. So because I won't tell them, but I also don't want people wasting their time. So what I do is I'll say, yes, we have some over asking price. Can you tell me what that is? No, I can tell you it's greater than 10%. I'll do something like that. And then I'll say, just send your best offer. But we're also looking at terms. Any questions about that part of it? I kind of went off on a tangent about that. You guys get what I'm saying? It's like you can't disclose everything because it might blow up. But at the same time, number one, you want to make sure people actually do give you a competitive offer. So like I said, I don't lie. But the other thing is, as a buyer's agent, and you're going to make an offer and they say, oh, I've had tons of interest. What's one of the first things you do? And as a seller's agent, you should know this. I go into the showing to try to pretend like I'm going to make an appointment. And I see how many appointments do they have? Right? How many are blacked out? If like every day is open, you know they're not getting it. Right? So just keep that in mind. If you lie, they're going to kind of figure it out anyway. All right, number 4, set an appointment, time and date for as soon as possible, and send your pre-listing packet if you use one. Like I said, I don't do a pre-listing thing. I send a questionnaire. But it's really up to you how you want to do it. There is a pre-listing packet in Command that you can use. So you can kind of just go from there. The whole point is you do not want to hang up the phone until you get that appointment, right? Because let's say they talk to someone else who's a 1%er or something like that. Do you think they're ever going to answer your phone call again? No, you need to show, like, be able to sell your value proposition to them, and that's by getting in front of them. So do not hang up the phone until you have that appointment, so that you can at least have, you know, a chance at bat. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's move on. So what sellers want most from their agent? Getting an appointment is about letting sellers know that you are going to be the agent that fulfills their needs in the transaction. So what do sellers want? 21% help price home competitively. You would think it'd be higher, but everyone has resources now on the internet. They might not be right, but people might think they're right about the pricing, right? 20% help seller market home to potential buyers. A lot of people have the impression that you don't really do anything, you just slap it on the MLS. So you need to sell your service. What are you doing differently? Help sell the home within a specific time frame. Remember we said you don't know what the motivation is. They may have to move, or, you know, they can wait it out. 16% help seller find ways to fix up the home to sell it for more. I talked to you guys about vendors. I know you should have in your back pocket vendors that can help you with things. And how many of you guys need to recommend at a time?
I'm sorry, I don't,
So if you're recommending vendors,
yes,
there's a certain number that you should
Oh.
always recommend.
3.
Perfect. And then other is 27%.
And why is that? Like, I have one lender. I just got Mike Sadowski, but why do I need to recommend 3 lenders?
Because it shows that you're, you know, not in someone's pocket. Does that make any sense?
Oh,
Or, you know, that one time, this is like the craziest story, and I could have reported this agent. I put an offer in for a buyer. I get a response they'll take your offer, but you have to use this lender. That is so illegal. You have to use this lender,
Oh,
right? And who does that benefit?
I,
Just the agent or someone, right? 'Cause
well,
usually
yeah,
they're
somebody's
throwing-
getting the money.
Right, they're throwing each other business, probably.
Yeah.
And I think the real estate commission just wants to make sure none of that's going on. So if
Yeah.
you always recommend 3, it doesn't look like that's going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I will tell you, usually people go down the list. So if you have someone you really think does a great job, put them first. And you can explain to people, this is what this person's good at, this is what this person's good at. So like my list of 3 inspectors, I'll say, hey, if you want like a detailed, like maintenance list, this is the guy. If you're worried about the structure, all these home inspectors are actual they're civil engineers, or not civil, sorry, structural engineers. So you're not gonna get as thorough of one, but if that's something you're worried about, hire them. You can kind of describe things, or not all lenders do lock and shop, right? And you know a lender who does that, you can tell them that. Or this lender doesn't do VA or FHA or chattel loans. You can specify that, but you can't recommend just one person.
So go
Right.
back to the, go back to the first slang that you threw out there, lock and what?
There's something called lock and shop, and I know Sadowski's company was doing it for a while. I don't know if they still are.
All
But
right,
basically, you basically lock your rate and then they'll hold that rate for you and they're just plugging the address in. So they're going through the whole entire process of getting you approved. But you only have a certain amount of time. They call it lock and shop.
okay. All right, thank you.
I would talk to Sadowski about it and see if they're still doing it, because it's actually a really good option. If someone's having a hard time, finding something, and there's talk about interest rates going up,
Yeah,
so. Yeah. So remember 27% of sellers use their realtor previously, so they have a good fiduciary relationship with that agent. So let's say you are getting in at bat, especially because you're new, and a lot of the people you're calling might already have worked with someone. You need to really sell the value you're going to bring to the transaction. You need to have everything prepared for the listing appointment and know the market for the phone calls, right? So if they start asking you like specific questions, say, you know what, well, let's just get together. We'll discuss this during our appointment. Do not give all your goods away for free. You need to get in front of them, but you do need to be able to have an intelligent conversation. And how can you have an intelligent conversation over the phone? You need to know market stats, right? If someone calls and says, how's the market? I was thinking about selling. I just don't know if it's a good time. You need to know the market stats, like quick like that.
Yeah.
But getting into the actual listing and your percentages and your commission and all of that, I would try to avoid it as much as possible until you're in front of them, so you can sell your value proposition. All right, let me silence my phone. Okay? Any questions? All right. So build confidence and trust. What are some ways you can build confidence and trust with your sellers?
Just being real open with them and truthful with them.
By asking asking intelligent questions, right? You can prove that, you know what you're talking about just by asking questions and knowing the answers to them, right? Your focus during the process of like, when you're like at an appointment or talking to people, your focus during this process is not to sell, is to provide value, meet their real estate needs, and secure the appointment. They need to experience what it's like to work with an agent who asks questions, listens, and cares, right? Cares about what's going on there. Like I said, you're going to do a lot of counseling. Actually, on the weekend at night, we have a girl on there that has her master's in counseling. I'm like, oh, it's going to go really well for you. Remember to be a good listener. Is anyone else weird about awkward silences?
Me like that?
Exactly. I am.
Okay.
It is something I work on constantly. It's just to shut my pie hole and listen to what they're saying instead of trying to interject or guess what they're going to say.
Yeah.
Right? The awkward silence a lot of times is when you get the most information. Just always remember that. Be a good listener. Don't just go in there and start selling yourself. Make sure you're listening to what their needs are. Okay. All right, so there's something called the 7 close to appointment tactic. The same close to appointment tactics you use with buyers work with sellers, right? You learned about doing it with sellers yesterday with Jody. Don't leave any conversation without asking for the appointment multiple times. We've discussed this at length, why it's important. Does anyone remember why I said it's important?
Because if you get off the phone, you've lost the chance to get the appointment.
Correct. You may or may not, who knows, later. But you want to make sure you have the opportunity, right? You need to show the benefits, right? Take back close. I don't understand what that meant. Negative, positive close. Give them what they're looking for. Trial close, assumptive close, and tie downs. Success in this job is just as much about mindset as hustle. Believe in yourself first, and others will do the same. So if you go in there like sheepish, like you don't know what you're talking about, what do you think the people are going to feel? They don't know what you're talking about, right? You're inexperienced, and remember, are these people buying a sweater or selling a sweater?
No.
No, this could financially impact their entire lives, right? So they want to know that whoever they're working with feels confident and knows what they're talking about. Just always remember that. What are some of the ways you can get confident?
Practice.
Yes. Go to the trainings. How many times have I said to you guys, there's a direct correlation between training and the top agents, or just not even training, it's just being involved. So guess who comes to most of our stuff at the office? Can anyone guess? Who are the people that come?
The new people, the new agent.
Nope.
The successful people.
Exactly. Yesterday, I couldn't go because I'm doing the reload thing. Yesterday, Nikki did a Jeopardy thing here in our office. And we were all talking about it after. It was every single one were cappers in this room. There was not one new agent there. And that is shameful. If you say you want to be successful in this business, you should be attending this stuff. And some of it is, so you know what the heck's going on, right? And that you know how to talk to people about what's going on. And as a new agent, you should be coming so you can build confidence, so you can have intelligent conversations with people. And you're gonna do that by learning from the people who do it right? Or successful. Any questions about that? One of the things you have to do, you do not get off the phone until you have an appointment set. A day, a time, and have all of their contact information. When I have appointments with people, I send them a Google Calendar invite. So it's always on there. And then one of the other things is, should you ever schedule an appointment when both of the people who are making decisions aren't there? No, because you're never gonna have the opportunity to potentially show your value to the other person, right? And then the next agent comes in, potentially, and gets that opportunity to both of them. And the one that wasn't with you isn't gonna trust you. Because they didn't get to hear it, right? And the other thing is, like I told you guys, they're never gonna be on the same page. Right? And even the pricing is a big one, where you'll have one that's like, I want this. And then I'm gonna say wife because I'm a woman and I'll make us sound smarter. And then the woman will be like, yeah, but the market's completely, you know what I mean? And they'll bring them back down. So you need to have both of them there, okay? Questions versus objection. Oh, Brandon, are you saying something?
Yeah, two things. Sorry, I turned my video off because I didn't think anyone would want to watch me eating. So on one hand, what was the event you were talking about?
Oh, at our Castle Rock office, Mickey did I try to get her in here like once a month to do something. And yesterday she did one called Let's Play Jeopardy, where she just had agents and she was like throwing information out and having people answer it. And then there was like a winner. It was a lot of fun.
Who's Mickey?
So she is with Ascendant Title.
Ah, okay.
If
Thank you.
you've never taken something from her, and this was before these offices were actually kind of commingling, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, do you guys have an Ascendant Title rep at your office?
Nope.
Okay, so at our office, we have Janelle.
Okay.
And that was before that. I knew Mickey from 5 years ago. She's awesome. She is really funny, super knowledgeable. She's awesome. If you can take something from her, you will like it. So try to take something from.
Can you, how do we get on, or how do I, because I'm, like I said, I'm 20 minutes away from you. How do I get in that list of events? Ponder that over. We'll talk about it later.
No, I'm thinking, because what happens at our office is Miranda sends out Google invites to all these things.
Yeah.
So I wonder if you should reach out to Miranda to see if she could just include you in on those Google Calendar invites, even though you're not with our office.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, I can do that. Thanks.
You know how to get a hold of her?
Yep.
Okay, good. That's what I would do.
Hey, and then the other thing I wanted to bring up and maybe, see what you think about it. Like one thing that's helped me in terms of speaking up at meetings, being a better leader when I work corporate, just talking to people is like doing stuff that gets outside my comfort zone. A few years ago, I mean, it seems like simultaneously 10 years and 1 year because it was pre-pandemic, because time lost all meeting during those 2 years. But I started doing improv, like performing improv and taking classes. And the first time, and I'd been on stage before when I was really young. First time going on a stage was like, holy shit, this is the terrifying thing ever. And then I was like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And you do things, but I feel like they translate. Like you do something like that where it's like you're really getting in front of people and putting yourself out there and taking a chance. And then like you find out that like, oh, there was this person I wanted to talk to, and like 2 months ago I would have been a little bit nervous, and now I'm like just like, hey man, what's up?
Right, because you got more comfortable with it. I think we've all talked about my dancing. Everyone makes fun of me because when I'm like at a wedding or something, I'm one of those out there and I don't care what I look like. And it's funny because all my cousins, like my younger ones now, are exactly the same. And I can remember having conversations with them. Do you think anyone will remember that I'm out there dancing fun? And what's the worst they could say? I'm out there having fun? I mean, think about it like logically. Who cares? So you have to look at it like that too. Like, so you're out there trying to, do business. What is someone going to say about you? Oh, they're out there trying to make it. I mean, think about it logically. It's the same thing. Who cares? Right? Have any of you guys ever traveled with a baby on an airplane? Or a toddler?
Sandy, how many times did you do that?
Do what?
Sandy shaking
Twice.
her head. Once?
No, twice.
Oh,
or
I can't
more.
see. I didn't see her. Okay, so what happens when the mother gets super frazzled?
Well,
Hey, I can tell you one thing, it's a bad day for the
Very
father that afternoon.
Right. No, but when the mother gets frazzled, you could see the kid, the energy level changes, and then they get worse. So when my kids were little, I remember I took one, and then after a while, I'm like, why am I caring? Like the more frustrated I get, the more frustrated they're gonna get. And then you have to kind of go in there with the attitude, all right, so if I have a crying baby, are these people gonna see me on the street and say, that's the woman with the crying? They won't remember, right? Who cares? And actually after that, my kids were way better because I wasn't as uptight. Sort of the same thing. Does that make sense? Okay, so let me move on. All right. Sometimes we need to step back and make sure we're hearing an objection before we address it, right? So remember we talked about being good listeners? Actually listen to the question and answer the question. And then if there's an objection, then you address it, right? So a seller may be asking a question, yet the agent hears an objection. These are two different things and you should respond to it differently. So like if someone asks you what your commission rate is, if you go into that right away, trying to answer an objection, you're doing the wrong thing, right? Answer the question. And then if there's an objection, address it. So that was their example. What's your commission? Just provide your answer. If they ask if you would work for less, you can say, no, I won't. It was just a question, right? If they persist, ask what's stopping them from hiring you today. They may say, another agent will list my house for only this percentage, right? And if this happens on the phone, let's say like they start asking you questions about your commission on the phone. Why don't you, what is your answer? Like if they're like, well, I think I might just go with this other guy because their commission's less. What would you say? Oh, okay. What would your response be? Anyone?
I may be able to work with you on that.
I wouldn't even discuss it. Say, listen, I would like to still meet with you. I'd like to show you my value, and we can kind of discuss the commission because it's not a fixed price, right? And that's something you have to tell everyone. There is no set commission. It's illegal. It's price fixing. So that's what you say. Let me sit down with you. I'm going to show you my value proposition and we can discuss this a little bit more. I wouldn't start throwing out numbers, right? Nothing like that. Another example is I thought my house would sell for more money. Neighbors did. So before I should have stopped earlier. I thought my house would sell for more. Is that well, it's kind of a statement. How could someone else word that? This is Jeopardy, put it in as a question. Why won't my house sell for more? Answer the question. Correct? And then they say, well, my neighbors did, right? Then you address it. Then you talk about market condition. Know the facts of what's going on. Like make sure that you've looked at all the other comps. What does a house look like? You haven't redecorated since 1980 and you have brown sculptured carpeting. This person put new flooring in, right? You need to know those things so you can address those objections. Okay? Any questions? I didn't know what time it is. You guys want 5 minutes? All right, I'm going to run to the bathroom as well. Go ahead and take your 5 minutes. Yeah, I do that too. But everyone. Yeah, and it seems redundant. Yeah.
Hey, while we're on break, does anybody know in CTM how to get to, sorry, how to get to the inbox on the messages? Because every time I click on messages, I go to the sent folder. Anybody know how to do that?
Can you share your screen?
Oh, let's see.
Let me see if you're able
If
to.
I do that.
Yeah, I see.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. See if I can do this. All right, so see, I'm right. Oh, can y'all see that? Oh gosh.
Yep.
And when I go to messages, CTM, I just get this sent folder. How do you find your in folder?
I don't think you've got any ends. Or I don't think.
JPEG or PNG, yeah.
Your message.
Yeah, just send it over and I'll review it for you.
I just don't-
Oh, hey. What are you showing?
Oh, I'm trying to figure out where it, so I'm trying to find my email from Kevin that gave me input on my contract that I emailed him, but I can't find the inbox. I find the sent folder.
Okay, see on the top right, it says messages. If so, but the thing is, it's not gonna send it there usually.
Yeah, that should be in command. Wouldn't it be? If
Oh,
you're trying to get feedback on your contracts that you send, that's gonna be in
Yep.
command in your opportunities.
Go
oh,
into command, I'll show you.
okay, I'll stop sharing. I just was asking them.
No, go ahead, share again and share your command.
Yeah, please. I could definitely learn something here. And Becky, before I forget to ask again, do you have a buyer or a seller?
I have both,
Okay.
strangely. I don't know.
Good job, guys.
I don't know. It just was luck, pure luck. Okay, so I can't get to it because of this. How do I get out of this?
No, just go to the right and hit the plus button.
Right here?
No, up above. Like in the, above where the, mail. Nope, go all the way to the right, all the way to the right.
Oh,
Hit the
okay.
plus.
Open. Okay, I can do that. Oh, there it is. Look. Get up there.
Oh, you already have it open? Okay.
Oh, I really
And
can't.
just go to home.
Yeah. I tried creating a listing. I don't like I use PowerPoint constantly. Where is it? What's going on here?
Oh, you had to hit done.
Yeah, well, it's definitely done. I just use PowerPoint instead. Oh my gosh, sorry. So it's in my inbox then, is what you're saying in my email.
If it's something, did you submit it to Kevin for him to review?
I did. I sent it through CTM to Kevin to review.
Oh, then that's completely different. Go to your email.
To my email.
Whatever, from what account did you send it?
From CTM.
No, I mean, what's your account linked to? Like, what email do you use that's linked to this, to your CTM?
It's under here and I can't seem to get to that. How do I get to that?
See the inbox next to CTM on the top?
I
Click
know.
on that.
I can't seem to get rid of this. It's in my way. But you're saying
It'll just be in your inbox.
in my Keller Williams inbox?
Yeah, if that's what's linked to this CTM account.
Oh man, I need to check my emails more often.
Go and search email and just type Kevin.
I don't see him on here at all though. That's really weird, right?
So he responded?
He hasn't responded.
Did you send it through command though?
No, she didn't submit in command. She said she just emailed it through
Oh, okay.
CTM.
CTM, yeah. But
Yeah,
see,
so
this one,
he just hasn't responded because you'll get it here if this is the email account that CTM is linked to. If
okay.
it might be another one, then you'll have it on that account.
I
It
just
depends on how you set up your your CTM when you initially got it.
Well, so you guys are right. I didn't realize that because I did know it the first time. Because this is the other one that I got from him for Scanlon, but I'm looking for a different one for Layton, and he hasn't responded yet, which I sent last night. I'm kind of surprised.
What time
Yes,
was
sir.
it though? He doesn't do anything after 6 p.m.
Oh, it might have been after 6. Okay, I've stopped sharing.
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Oh, shoot. I dropped. All right, let me get back to this. Okay. So we talked about the pre-listing packet. I'll be honest, like I told you guys, I don't use one. I just talked to Kelly, she doesn't use one, and another agent here, she doesn't use one, but some agents do. So it's up to you. I would take a look at it. It's in command. It might be something, you feel would be good just to kind of help get your foot in the door to show some value. Hold on.
Jody coached me to use one.
Did she? That's what I'm saying. Everyone does it different. I just don't. I send a questionnaire. So it's just up to you how you want to do it. As we move through today, keep in mind the E to P personal perspective. What do we mean when we say we need to move from E to P to break through ceilings of achievement? Does anyone know?
Well, I just started looking at this, and it says the purposeful approach, doing what comes unnaturally.
It's just what Brandon said, like stepping out of your comfort zone,
Yeah.
right? Move from being entrepreneurial, doing what comes naturally, to purposeful, working with proven systems and models to achieve more, right? So not just winging it. KW gives you so many systems and models, probably to the point where your head wants to explode, right?
Yep.
Look at me. What is the MREA? What is the whole book about? Systems and models.
Yeah.
And that is like doing a pre-listing packet. The listing presentation. Like I said, you have all of that in command, at least to get you started, even if you don't like it. The thing, like Becky said, you could do the PowerPoint. I've seen other people do it, and it seems like it prints funny. So just be careful with that. You might be better off in Canva or taking what you find elsewhere. Remember, I showed you guys mine, and I just upload different things into there because I want it to be more mine. But you're still using, so you know it's going to print correctly. Okay. The pre-listing packet goals. Pre-sell, build the seller's confidence, answer their questions and objections before your presentation. So again, show value. Save time, makes the consultation, experience smoother or shorter by tackling common obstacles. State your value, tell the seller what you bring. But you can't put it all in there like right away. I would say, so like to state your value. Remember, sellers have specific goals they intend to achieve, and this is a crucial step in discovering their goals and telling them how you will help them achieve it. Again, we talked about, I just want the most money or time, right? I need to sell it quickly. So knowing that ahead will help you be able to show your value for what they need. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I just talk to people, but however you guys want to do it, it's your business. All right. Will you review it in the listing presentation?
Maybe.
Does it eliminate the need for a listing presentation?
No.
I wouldn't even talk about it in your listing presentation. Is it a primer for education you will provide at the listing consultation? That's what the criteria should be. Like I said, I send questions about the home, the neighborhood, etc. And that's just for me to get information. I feel like I'm giving them the information at the listing presentation, but sending over a pre-listing packet might not be bad, or even like a copy of what the contract looks like, right? So that they can kind of review it before you sit down with them. So like I told you guys, you can get the pre-listing packet on command. The pre-listing packet helps the sellers to get ready to understand and accept your plan by their home, for their home, by providing them with general information about selling the home. You should not be sending them comps and all that other stuff. You need to keep this at the very minimum as possible. So under 10 pages, just basic general information. Other items that you should have in your pre-listing packet should be a cover page, your contact information. Remember we talked about like what your promise is, right? The selling process overview, like just kind of showing them how the process goes. General pricing information. You can talk about even include the 2-week. Remember I was telling you that there's like a diagram that you can use for that. Value proposition. What are you going to do different than any other agent? Broker, office, personal metrics. So if like you have numbers, you could send those with it. Client testimonials. You could, send some of your reviews, previous listings. And then you could also do the ancillary services we have: Keller Mortgage, Keller Coverage, Keller Offers, blah, 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 blah. All right. Any questions on the pre-listing packets? You understand what's in it? Okay. Any ahas on this? Oh, okay. All right, now we're getting to the listing appointment, which is the most important thing other than getting the lead, right? So I want to explain something to you guys about what they're going to talk about. What the heck? Hold on. Okay, I skipped over this. So in this, the way they're doing it like as a 3-step. And I know that's how Kevin does his listing presentations. I do a 2-step. So this is assuming, do you guys go out to the property before you actually do the listing presentation? Becky, I know you said you're using one.
What was the question?
Do you go out to the property first before you do the listing presentation?
I wanted to, but the the people are from out of town. So I did the listing presentation. I made it fairly generic. And then the contract, I put a lot of to be determines in there. The price, the fixtures, all that kind of stuff. I just don't know yet because I haven't seen it.
Right, and honestly, you kind of have an idea. Even that's why you never say this is where we should list it. You give them a range, and that's why. So I don't do a 3-step. So when we talk about the pre-listing packet, you can do it 2 ways. You can email it over if you do a 2-step, right? Or when you come there for the first appointment, before you do the listing presentation, you hand it to them. I don't do a 3-step, I do a 2-step. I don't ever do, I get the information over the phone, then I go with all my information, my listing presentation. That's how I do it. But everyone does it different. Like I said, Kevin does a 3-step, which is what they want you to do here. Okay? So review checklist at a high level through the seller checklist. Deliver your pre-listing package. Make sure to deliver on time as promised. So if you make an appointment, or you're not even gonna walk the property, but you're gonna hand deliver it, make sure you show up when you say. Confirm appointment date, time, and location. Follow up to confirm the appointment, send a text. Like I said, one other good way to do it is just send a Google invite and then a text right before. One other thing I wanted to note, be safe. Make sure someone knows where you will be and with whom, right? If this is someone you've never met, it's a Zillow lead or some other lead, you need to make sure you're meeting them in public, not, you know, like Jeffrey Dahmer. Are you guys watching that thing? Oh my gosh. At his apartment, right? So make sure you're in public. One other thing you could always do if it's someone you don't know, most people understand it, and you can say, hey, you know, I've never met you. What I always like to do is have you send me a picture of your identification, right? And they can send you a picture of their driver's license. I've done that when I'm meeting people at properties at night that I didn't know. I would have them do that to me. And the other thing is then you know you're meeting the person who you're supposed to be meeting. Okay, so just make sure you're safe so you don't end up in Jeffrey Dahmer's apartment in a bucket. Ensure all decision makers attend. We already talked about this. You should never schedule an appointment unless you have everyone there, right? Because you're, number one, you don't know what people's motivations are. They could be different. Number two, you didn't get a chance to even go at bat with the other person, but they saw this other person go, you know, show their presentation. So that puts you at a really high disadvantage. Complete and practice your listing presentation. This is what we've been talking about all the time. Make sure you have it. Are you guys all doing generic ones, or are you doing one per appointment?
Well, I did the competitive market analysis specific to the, you know, to the property. That was part of it, but I put it.
Yes, you should have your, as far as I'm concerned, have your generic listing presentation, and then you have the comps, right? So make sure you have that done and down. Do not sit there and flip through every page and read. It's going to make people uncomfortable and make you look like you don't know what you're talking about. If you want to refer to some of those pages in your listing presentation, that's fine, but do not just sit there and flip. A lot of it is you gathering information from them, right? Being a good listener, finding out what they need, and being able to address it. Review the lead sheet. Arrive to the listing presentation in a professional manner. Don't show up in your bathing suit and flip-flops. Which I see.
I have a question. What is number 5? What is review the lead sheet? What is that?
So I'll show it to you. Let me show you. I don't know if they describe it in here. Go over the lead sheet right before your consultation, so the seller's profile and goal are clear in your mind. There must be a review the lead sheet. I'll show you guys what I use. Hold on one second. That I bring to appointments. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. Let me pull it up.
I love this Altos report. I just ran one of those, and that's really good for
I know, isn't it awesome?
setting expectations. I thought it was.
Yep. All right, hold on, I'm pulling it up. I gotta get to the right place. There's so many windows open on my computer. Let me make sure this is one that I have, okay. So I'm in our, because I have like a Google Drive here with resources for people in PC. So if you go on RE Colorado, you can find this. Okay. It's called like, this is what I bring. They may be talking about something else, I'll be honest, I'm not really sure. But this, so that you know you're hitting every, oh, this is the MLS, I'm sorry, hold on. No, that is what it is. And then the thing is, then you have all this information when you're inputting stuff into the MLS. You see what I'm saying? So you just kind of go through this sheet. You can get it on RE Colorado. And it helps you fill out the MLS. Like I said, go on RE Colorado, you can find this too. I'll have to check, I'll look at that on our next break to find out what they're talking about with the pre-listing thing, Brennan. I'm guessing it's something probably in command, in designs.
Okay.
I do this too, but I have my own, but this gives you kind of an idea. Have a listing management checklist, so you know you're doing everything. Okay.
Okay.
I have one where I put at different stages. I even have an email. I say to myself, did you send this email? And then I'll put what template it is, because I number all my templates in CTM. And that's how I have mine. So it's up to you guys how you want to do it. All right, hold on.
I have another question too, and you might be answering this later. So it's unfortunate that the word lead and lead are spelled the same way in English. So in fact, I even like got confused. I thought I had a leads folder in my somewhere in my Google Drive, but it's actually a lead disclosure folder. So when do we, like, you're probably gonna get to this, but when do we talk to the sellers about their required disclosures? Like, you know, in Denver, like 90% of the houses will require lead disclosure. Most of them require whatever that disclosure about the wiring is. And then, but there's a seller's disclosure form. I mean, it's to first time seller, it might come as a shock to all this, you know, hey, basically, dude, you gotta tell everybody every bad thing you know about your property. And even if it's just built before a certain time, you have to say, hey, might be lead that can kill your kids in this property. You know what I mean? Like that might come as a shock to them. When do you like tell them?
Sorry. I would not talk about that at your listing presentation. I would address the fact that you're going to be sending them over some property disclosures once you have it signed, right? And then what do you tell people about the seller's property disclosure?
I mean, here's a form, you need to fill it out. There's a requirement, anything that you know you were supposed to disclose, anything that is a non-obvious material defect, you have to disclose it. Here's a handy form with a whole checklist. If you don't know, you don't know, but what you know, you gotta disclose. As do I.
Yeah. All right, and the response is gonna be, well, why would this is like stupid. This is like a stupid thing I did. I'm not gonna put that on there. What do you say?
It does seem stupid. I agree. And I wouldn't want to do it either, but that protects you and me both from liability down the road. Because if it comes out, hey, I knew that there's this major leak in the ceiling that will cost 18 grand to fix, and you knew about it, then there's your future buyer is not going to be happy with you. And if I knew about it, they're not going to be happy with me either. So let's just make it easy for both of us down the road.
So I already fixed that, Brandon.
Are we still doing role play?
I'm just, yeah, pretending. I just kind of flew into it, sorry.
Like I
I'm
said,
just giving you a response that you're gonna hear.
well, so it's up to you. I mean, and it would depend on the market we're in. I mean, right now, I would probably fix it, but that is totally up to you. You don't have to go in and get an engineer's report. You don't have to get an estimate right now. The requirement that gets you off the hook, so to speak, is to disclose what you actually know. Now, on the other hand, if a home inspector comes in, it's like, oh, damn, this is gonna cost $8,000 to fix, that contract is probably gonna fall through. So I would suggest that you look into how big this problem is. With the caveat that once you know how big the problem is, then you're legally required to disclose it. So it's a tricky situation when you know there's a problem, but in this market, I recommend, again, it's up to you, get your quotes if you want to. I recommend fixing this before you put it on the market.
All right, what do you say if they say they've already fixed it, so they're not gonna put it on there?
Then to me, you make it, I mean, I've had this situation with homes I've sold, and I try to make it a positive. Hey, it's a new roof, right? That's what you can disclose. Yes, do I know of a previous roofing problem ever? Yes, and we erase it, it's a new roof. You put it right there on the form.
I just had this recently happen to me. This was like a closing like 3 weeks ago. And we got the seller's property disclosure, and guess what? There was nothing on it. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Oh.
So then during the inspection, the agent was there for like a short period of time, and I asked him a question, and then all of a sudden he started disclosing all this crap.
No.
And what do you think my buyer thought at that point?
It wasn't good.
They didn't trust him at all. And what people think is stupid might not be stupid to somebody else, right? And then the other thing is, what happens when they move in? And let's say they had a neighbor they liked or didn't like. What's going to happen?
Well, if there's some nosy neighbors like there are in a lot of Denver neighborhoods, especially when the houses are real close together, I mean, I'll just use a real name. Sarah's going to come over and say, hey, what'd you guys do about that problem with the plumbing, in the crawl space? And they're going to say, what are you talking about? You know how they half-ass fixed it? Didn't they tell you about this?
Exactly. Or, oh man, how's the basement look? I heard it flooded, 2 years ago. And then you're like, I didn't know that. And, I have a kid who is very sensitive to mold. Right? And then the person does a test and then they find out there's mold in it. What do you think they're going to do?
Call a lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why.
the Sarahs
Go ahead, Brandon.
love to do stuff like that.
It was just like, when I said that to him, I go, why didn't you disclose it? You know what the agent said? Well, I didn't want, I always tell people, don't disclose it, because what if you're disclosing the wrong information? Oh my gosh. Are you a freaking idiot? You should tell every single person, disclose, 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 or you can get sued. Right? So just keep that in mind.
That was what my real estate class, they would say something like to the effect of the first 3 roles of being a real estate broker are disclose, disclose, disclose.
Right. And for the seller, because who are they going to sue? Let's say they find out you knew. And let's say they don't even know if you knew. They're going to sue you too, because guess what? Where are they going to go? Where there's insurance. Right? So they'll be suing the seller and they'll be suing you. So you make sure you tell them, disclose, disclose, disclose. I have a template when I send it to them, that says disclose, disclose, disclose on top of what, on top of my conversations with them. So make sure that's what you're telling people, because honestly, it looks shisty when you send over a blank one. All right, so now, oh my gosh. We're talking about getting a signed listing agreement. What is the purpose of the listing presentation, guys?
To get the listing agreement?
Signed, right? What if they say, I'm gonna go with you?
Yay. Here's the paper,
Right.
pen.
Right? Or you could send it like, just be like, okay, let me fill out this, if you don't have it ready, you could always do it later. It's usually a good idea, especially if you're not super comfortable with contracts. Just have them ready to go before your appointment. And then you can pull out your computer and have them sign it. Or, like you said, wet sign it and then upload it into CTM later, okay? So the goal is to get a signed listing contract. During your listing appointment, you need to create a great impression to build the seller's confidence in you as a real estate agent of choice. How do you do that again, guys? I feel like I'm talking in circles. How do you do that?
Be genuine and caring and open and honest and state your value proposition. Any of those?
Yep, all of those. On top of it, go ahead, Becky.
Confident.
Confidence. Yep.
How do you
yep.
build confidence?
By knowing your stuff.
How do you know your stuff?
Research.
And practice.
And practice.
And training.
Oh,
You
and
guys
training.
have no excuse. I'm not gonna tell you, like I said, I didn't get to go to Mickey's thing because I had something else. There's gonna be times you can't attend everything. There's no excuse anymore. You can Zoom. Right? There's no excuse for you not to be on all these trainings. Because that's how you're gonna get good at having the conversations. All right? So creating a great impression, like I said, knowing how to talk the talk and walk the walk. Be prepared. What if you walk in and you're like, you don't even have like a packet ready?
Oh, no.
Or you come in with nothing. You're gonna look like a dork. So make sure you're prepared. Share your price recommendation, the initial list price for the property and the reasons behind it. Explain how you believe that price is designed to get their home sold in the shortest amount of time or for the most money possible. Keep in mind, do you set the price?
No,
Who does?
they do.
What if you don't agree with it?
Well, that's where you come in and you talk to them about why your number is one and their number is another, and you ask questions. Did I get that part right, Lise? You
Yep.
ask the questions.
And what if they're like, I don't care, I want $1 million, and you did the comps and you know it's worth 800? What can you do?
Well, isn't that one of those things that you have to make the decision if you're going to want work with this seller? Because if they're
Exactly.
if they're going to stick with $1 million and you know it's going to go for 6, nothing to
Right.
be done there. It's like that's just the beginning of a headache.
Yeah, because in the absence of value is time.
Introduce them to the Rolling Stones song. Brandon.
That was good. So, yeah, I mean, there's gonna be times where if someone's not gonna budge and you know you're gonna be sinking money into this,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna sell, I wouldn't do it. And it makes you look bad because something's been on the market. And honestly, then you get other agents who don't know why you listed it so high, so it makes you look dorky. So just
There-
keep that in mind, right?
There are 4 homes in my area. Most homes go in like 1 or 2 days. All of these homes have been on the market for over 30 days. And one of them is sitting at 800,000 since the beginning of July. So yeah,
And it's sad because people don't understand it, but
Yeah.
it's, there's a high probability it has nothing to do with the agent.
probably not.
Yeah, it could be like, remember when all the short sales were going on? Not that you guys were
Oh.
agents, but
Oh.
people had to have a certain dollar amount because they
Yep.
didn't want to short sell. And they would get stubborn, right?
Yep.
So you don't know why it's listed for that. But what does the general public think right away?
The agent is,
Yep.
yeah, it's not,
dummy.
yeah, it's the agent didn't price it right because
Right.
most people don't understand the process.
And your sign's been out there for 6 months,
Yeah,
right? And they're gonna be like, wow, this person obviously doesn't know what they're doing or not doing anything to sell this property, right? Set expectations for how you will market the home and work with the sellers. Super important, right? So let's say they're like, you know what, you might be right. I think we should list it at 725, but I'd rather go a little bit higher so that I can get offers in case they're under. Do I think we'll probably close at the number you said? Sure. But can we price it a little bit higher? What is your answer? Sorry, I'm gonna shut the doors because I am so loud. I talk so loud and I feel sorry for everyone. Somebody answer and I'll be listening.
I know that sounds weird, but I don't have an answer for that.
What should the expectation be that you say to them? If nobody knows, I'll answer, but I want to give you guys an
Please do.
opportunity.
Please do, because I don't know that we're coming up with anything.
Okay. If that's what you want to do, I will do whatever you would like me to do. But keep in mind, you will never get that same traction on your listing as you would in the first 2 weeks it's on the market, okay? What I would like you to do is if we list it at that price and we get feedback or no showings on your property, that we will come back a week from now and potentially lower the price to what I said. That's setting an expectation,
Okay, I get what you're
right?
saying. Yeah,
So that it's not like a week from then, you said, okay, let's do it. And then a week from then you call and they're like, well, I told you this is what I wanted, right? You never set that expectation. That we're gonna reevaluate if we're not getting any traction in a week, right? The other expectation, I will call you every Tuesday and let you know the feedback, right? Otherwise, guess what happens? They're calling you every day. What have you heard? Right?
Yeah.
You set the expectation. You will answer phone calls. And people don't understand that if they have an agent who doesn't answer the phone, how bad it is.
oh my God.
And they don't even know that they're not doing it, right? So I would throw it out there, I'm not gonna be one of those agents who doesn't answer the phone. If I have someone calling about the house, I will answer or call them back immediately. Right? Like throw it out there, there's gonna be people that don't. And let's say that you're going on vacation or they know you work besides, set an expectation. Don't you ever worry about it. I have this person who fills in for me if I'm out of town.
Yeah.
Set the expectations, okay? I mean, you guys know how to get the listing presentation, right, in Command. Does anyone out there in Zoom world not know?
Becky? Oh, she's on mute.
You mean that do know or don't know?
Anyone out there that doesn't know where to get it, where I need to kind of go through that, because that was something I'm supposed to show you guys. But I know you guys know because we did it before. Same exact place as the buyer presentation, you just go under sellers, right?
Listing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, any questions? No? Okay. All right, so how the listing presentation meets sellers' needs and wants. I'm supposed to show you guys, take 10 minutes to show you guys the listing presentations in design. Does anyone want me to do that? Speak up now or forever hold your peace. Okay. So what I'm supposed to do is break you guys up into groups. And I'm only gonna do it, I'm supposed to do this for like 15 minutes. I'm gonna do it for 5. And the reason why, what I want you guys to discuss with I don't want you designing right now. I want you to discuss some ideas you might have for how to make their listing presentation great. And then that way, after 5 minutes, you can come back and if you have questions for me, I can help you with that, okay? Just keep in mind, you need to have, gosh, my voice is going. Each section addressing the goals we discussed. How does each section address the items sellers want from our pie chart? And how might you customize a section or page to further meet these goals and needs? So only 5 minutes. Are you guys good with that? Or you want the whole 15 to do a listing presentation together? I think you guys should have all been working on this already. So why don't you guys talk amongst each other? And then maybe come up with like some of the things you guys have done and share them with each other. How many people do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to do 3 groups. Like I told you guys before, make sure you do it. You actually join it. Because if you don't, that person is sitting there by themselves. Okay, 5 minutes. Hello,
Hi.
Hello.
we have 4 more seconds.
Oh,
Okay,
Can I ask you a question?
yeah.
What disclosures, I know you don't do one, but if people do one, what disclosures would be necessary to like include in like a seller presentation?
If you're gonna recommend, you know, the, Keller Mortgage or anything like that, the affiliated business disclosure, you should have that. Kevin requires us to all have the brokerage disclosure to buyer, right? Even if they're not signing with you or you're showing a home one time to them. You need to have that done. If they refuse to sign, you write on the top of it, refuse to sign, and the date, and then just keep it. Okay, but for the listing presentation, those are really the two that you need to have. And then everything else comes after it's signed,
Okay.
okay?
So like you
But
wouldn't
what-
recommend having an exclusive right to sell in a presentation off the bat?
So, like I said, sometimes you can do it two ways. You can email them because it's a lot of pages, like,
Yeah,
especially the contract, yeah. So you can email it over and just say, hey, before our listing presentation, I'd like to familiarize you with what the Colorado contracts look like. And you can send them the exclusive right to sell,
Yep.
right? And then I would probably send them the contract to buy and sell, so they can familiarize themselves with that as well. Okay? And just explain that's how you're doing it.
Got
But
it.
you should be going, during the listing presentation, you need to like, make sure they understand everything and go through it. It's not, if they're gonna sign it right there. If not, I always send it to them, I email it over, and then I follow up with a phone call. Right? And I always add a disclaimer on the bottom. Make sure, just, you should, gosh, I can't talk today, guys, I'm so sorry. You should potentially have a lawyer review this contract and consult with your accountant for any tax implications. I write that on the bottom of every single thing I send.
Okay.
Okay, because sometimes if someone hasn't lived in the house long enough, there will be tax consequences, right? If it's under 2 years. So they need to know that. Okay? Any other, like, things you guys discovered through that, or did you guys just shoot the poop?
Becky was kind enough to walk us through her listing, her current listing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Did you guys get any ideas from each other on the listing presentation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I pulled up Command and started looking through the listing presentation, and I definitely think that would be one of those, because it's like 30 pages. You're not going to sit there and walk somebody through 30 pages because
No.
they're so I think that would be something you fill out and say, hey, we're going to meet at this time. I'm going to send you like some discussion materials that we're going to go over, and then probably include a copy of the right to sell and say, hey, that's kind of the way the contract looks, and I will see you probably shortly. Maybe something like that.
so, like I told you, and I'll go through, because Taylor had asked me specifically to do this, how I do it. But that's just one part. Hey, how you doing? That's just one part of your listing presentation, is the listing part, right?
Mhm.
So I do it separately. So I have a listing presentation that's generic. Then I include the Altos report with the market, and I don't have that in there. I eliminate in that listing presentation you guys are talking about, I eliminate a lot of pages that I don't think I need. So I don't put anything about the market stats in there. Nothing like that, because I do that separately. I want to really discuss those, so in your generic one, I don't do that. Not to mention it changes too much, right? So I always eliminate that page. And then there's other pages that just aren't really applicable to me. And between you and me, I don't recommend Keller Mortgage, so you should, but I don't. So I don't have to put like the affiliated business disclosures and all that other stuff in there, right? I'm gonna pull this up so I can show you guys during one of our breakouts. I have a list of everything I include in my CMA. It's like an Altos report. I do a single line CMA, and then I have a CMA packet, and I do a single line CMA. And then I also include the single page property information, and then I include pictures of the other properties, right? You should always have go in Realist and pull up that property information on the property you're listing and have that readily available, right? I think I already said the Altos report. I'll go through it with you guys, but don't feel like you need to use all those pages. If there's things you're like, this is stupid, eliminate it. And I take part, and that, like I said, I've taken parts of pages and then uploaded, I think there's one on pricing, and I didn't like what they said, so then I just uploaded a diagram of what the, I'll show it to you guys. A diagram of like pricing it right strategy, where it shows like in the first 2 weeks is the most important, and then it drops off. So alter it the way you think makes sense, right? Don't go by what they have. And like I told you guys, in a lot of these, they're not even applicable to our market.
Yeah.
So you need to go through it and change things, okay?
So I did notice Karen sent me the new agent handbook, which I probably had somewhere, but it says when you have a listing and it just gives you step by step.
Yeah.
Just the new agent handbook. It's really great. It says step by step, do this, then do that, then do that. So the new agent handbook it's kind of a minimal approach, but I like it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
See, I have a lot of our stuff as resources on that Google Drive, because we have a website for our office. So that's how I do it. But let me talk about this slide real quick. Knowing your seller's needs is super important, because at the end of the day, it's a relationship business, right? Most of what your listing presentation is discovering what their needs are and building a relationship, correct? Oh, on the bottom right, there'll be an arrow on your computer. Hold on 1 second. I have someone joining that's in the office. Hold on. Do you want me to turn on the projector? I could do that too.
I can just sit here quietly and listen.
No, it's okay. It should be, minimize this page. Now go to the bottom.
Oh, you're saying here.
You need to mute it.
Oh, I think you were doing that.
So just, yeah, and then make sure you mute it on Zoom too. Which it sounds like you are. There you go. Okay.
I am. Well,
All right. Now he's not a big echo.
sorry about that all.
That's okay. All right, so this is to read the questions on the thing, but I'm just gonna read them to you guys really quickly because they're very small. Can anyone even read them? Unless Taylor, you want to.
Can you
I
see
read
it?
it. Yeah, I can.
Okay, good.
Just the whole page.
Yeah, what are your needs come first? What does it say?
Visualize your dream scenario for selling your home. What's one thing that has to happen to make that dream scenario a reality? How can I make that happen for you? Why is that important to you? If we could add just one more thing to make this process even better, what would it be? Why is that important to you?
And what is this all doing, asking these questions?
Probing.
And building a relationship, right? Because you're gonna learn so much more about the person. And then you can share your own stories, right? About good experiences, bad experiences, whatever. Also, you could also include in there how to earn and keep their business. What would you have to do as an agent to earn their business in the future and send them potentially referrals, right? And then how to adapt your approach to marketing or selling your home. Ask them, do you have anything in particular you want to see from me as an agent? Okay. All right, who wants to read the Gary Keller quote? I don't know if this is even him, it doesn't show it. How about Brandon?
I am knowledgeable and caring and the best agent for these clients. They will appreciate my expertise and preparation and choose me to represent them as they sell their home.
All right, that's your mindset, right? That's how you have to go into every single appointment, okay? Do you guys all know how to use opportunities in command?
Are you just adding buyers and sellers into opportunities? Because that's all I've done so far. But I don't know if there's another way to add other.
No, that's what you should be doing, because there's different stages. So you can say like, so that you know to keep up with them. You see what I'm saying? So you add them as an opportunity in command so that you're actually, have you guys ever like really looked at it? Hold on, I'm gonna stop my.
Yeah, so maybe my question or my answer is no then, because I'm only adding like mainly into the contacts page.
Okay. Hold on. Let me get in command. And let me get on my actual business page. See how many accounts I gotta use? Ridiculous. All right. So here we are. So when you go into an opportunity and you add somebody, see how it says there's cultivate? You have an appointment set. You're active. You're under contract and you're closed. Let me pull this one up. Geez. So these are like appointments, right? And you can see that there's different steps to all of these things. You can just keep moving people from step to step. I don't have anything in here for listings. I can show you guys my buyer I'm working with right now. And it'll kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about better. Here we go. So you see how there's different steps. So I'm under contract. When you're in the escrow step, you put it here. Once you're through inspection, you move it here. Once you're through appraisal, or you're through inspections, you move it here. Once appraisals come back, then you're here. And you just keep moving people over and over and over so you know kind of where you're at in the process. You can also do that in here in the cultivate, right? So you just keep moving people and moving people. These are people you need to kind of just watch. These are people you need to nurture. This is why you're putting everything in command. Then you have an appointment. Okay, you're in the process of scheduling it. All right, now I have them scheduled. Did they actually come? Right? Sorry. And then like, do you know how to get like to all the documents and everything too? Taylor?
Yes.
You guys know how to submit your commission?
Yes. Except it's hard.
It's all in here. Right? You submit it right away, and then your MCA knows it's coming, right? You don't wait. And then what happens is they will supply you with, say, I don't do it this way because I can wait to get paid. So I just let the checks go to Keller Williams and then we distribute it. But if you want to, what you could do is go in here, hold on. And then what would happen is once, if you submit and you want like to be paid at closing, what happens is your MCA will upload it and you'll find it here. You see what I'm saying? And it'll be right here. And then what you do is you download it and send that over to title. And then you'll get paid at closing.
I have a question about this. Is there a way to withhold taxes from your paycheck as they come, or is that just kind of something that you have to do at the end?
What you do is you put it aside so that you pay it at the end, or if you do quarterly taxes, or I don't know if you're an LLC, like I'm an LLC. And then you shouldn't do it until you are making enough money to, but that's how you do it.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't know if there was a way that we could have them already withhold it.
Oh,
Okay,
no, because you're an independent contractor.
got it.
You're not an employee. And I want to show you something, Becky, that Taylor was mentioning earlier. So let's say that you submitted something and Kevin responded and said, I need something else. This is where he'll say it. I have Gretchen on here because her and I are a team, and it shows her as the rainmaker, so he always sends it to her, but we're actually a team. And we only do that so that I can have a life. So that's where you'll find it. You'll see it in the messages, and then if something's returned, don't get all freaked out if you get it returned, because that just means you don't have all the information a lot of times. So we can't really approve everything. So sometimes they'll return it just because it's not complete. Okay? But you'll see these little things here where there's messages. And that's where you'll see it. See how I wrote in there to Kevin? Because I'm not attaching the broker's disclosure, so I just wrote Kevin a message. Don't ask me why, the guy was a little paranoid, but.
I guess then how does this work with CTM? It's just completely separate, like.
Completely separate. So like I said, if he responds to you and he responds to your email from CTM, whatever email account you have associated with your CTM, his responses will go to that. Okay? Any questions? Does this help you? Okay, good. All right, so let's share screen again. Where am I? Oh, here we go. Okay. So you guys are comfortable now with the opportunity section in Command, correct? All right, good. All right, let's go on. We're at the listing walkthrough. All right, so when you arrive at the potential seller's home, it's important to establish yourselves as knowledgeable and professional right away, right? I mean, I would think this is just common knowledge unless you're like totally dorky, but like greet them, right? Make sure you're not late, right? If I were you, if you do not know the neighborhood really well, take 10 minutes before your appointment, just drive through it. Find out where the pool is, where the parks are, and kind of make notes to yourself so that it looks like you gave a crap and you know a little bit about their neighborhood, okay? Thank them for the opportunity to even meet with you because they didn't have to, right? So just make sure you're doing that. always compliment them about something about the home. Even if it's hard to find it, which I've had. Compliment them on something, right? Usually, like, let's say they did something like they added a backsplash. And you point it out, it makes them feel good, doesn't it? When someone goes to your house and they're like, oh my gosh, I love what you've done to that. It'll make them feel good. And it shows that you do see value in their home, even if it's not super nice, right? Why do you think we suggest to leave your things in the kitchen? They're saying that when you walk in, before you do the listing walkthrough, and I know some agents who don't even do the walkthrough until after their listing presentation, so it's up to you how you want to do it. Most people do the walkthrough right away. Why do you think they tell you to leave your stuff in the kitchen first? Bueller?
It seems like you are like there to stay for a little bit and not just like rushing around with your things still. I don't know.
I don't know.
Because it kind of dictates where you're gonna do the appointment, right? And you're not gonna end up like standing, or I've done some where they like right away take you on the couch. That's not what you want. You want to be able to sit in front of them and have a conversation and show them what you brought, correct? So it's establishing where you're gonna have the appointment, right? Their answer was, the table provides a great space to talk and is more familiar and intimate than a living room or sitting room, which I don't know if I agree with that. But the bigger thing is you have a table there to kind of go through stuff, right? You're asking to be let into the heart of their home, because usually the kitchens are. Your home walkthrough is going to further information what you'll write for the listing information. So remember that sheet I showed you guys from RE Colorado? If you fill out that sheet plus add some personal notes, when you go to fill out the MLS, it's gonna be super helpful. Okay? The other thing is, make sure that you are actually asking why they moved there, right? And what they think is special about it. Because when I do open houses, I'll put in there, like, let's say the HOA does Easter egg hunts every year or 4th of July parties. I put in a frame kind of the special things about the neighborhood, right? And what a great park that is. And then there's all stuff you can add, okay? You can share your home walkthrough checklist on the checklist. And then, like I said, that's like all information that you can input into the MLS. All right. My bigger thing is just talking to them. Make sure after your appointment, you send them a handwritten note, not just an email. Why is it better to send them a handwritten note?
More personal.
Exactly.
It shows you took the time.
Exactly. And whether you win or lose the listing, you gain the experience. Always look at it that way, right? You're probably not going to be a rock star at this right away. And that's why it's important. Practice on your sister, your best friend, your neighbor, your mom. Just practice. Because you're not going to hit it out of the park the first time you do it. Any ahas? Okay.
That was a lot of information. I'm still kind of, it's still absorbing and gelling and stuff.
And a lot of it I'm adding in just through experience. It's not even stuff in the Ignite stuff. I'm just trying to help you, and I hope it's not making you more confused. On the listing agreement, our goal is to get a signed listing agreement by the end of your appointment, right? Hand out a copy of your listing agreement and any required additional documents to go over with them. Does anyone have any other questions? I know Taylor asked what other disclosures. Does anyone have any other questions about that? Okay, what I'm gonna ask you guys, oh gosh, my voice, I need to get some water. There is a script. I know you guys all love all this script business. Wrong one. I told you I have way too many things open. Oh, there's a property details on something I was pricing out. Let's see. What window do I need? Let's try this one. No, wrong one. I'm closing them for you guys, so I don't have to keep doing this. I'm sorry. All right, so I pulled up on page 22. I put it up here for you guys, so you have it. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
I want you to practice on each other. And I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to do this.
Okay.
All right. And I want you guys to do the seller objection. So one of you will be like the seller and one of you will be how you're gonna handle that objection, okay? So 10 minutes, we're gonna do a breakout. Again, make sure you join, because if you don't, someone could end up
By themselves.
right. So actually, I'm gonna remove myself. All right, here we go. You getting the invitations? Here we go. Did you get one, Jeff, on the joining?
I think so. No. Do you want me to participate in that?
Yeah, I think it's good. I'm gonna assign you to a room. I'm gonna assign you to room 2.
Okay.
Okay? Spent my time. I'm gonna go get a drink. You don't feel like I'm sitting here critiquing just you.
No, the reason I was funny that this came up because I wanted to talk to you about this appointment on Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of why I was coming in to see, just to verify and make sure.
Don't forget you're muted on your end. And then you have to turn up the volume again on your computer. There we go. It might be talking to you.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Practice.
Practice. Do you have that, or is the objection sheet, is that available?
I took a picture of it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did the same thing. Let's see, photos.
Is there anything another agent said they would do that for some reason I forgot to mention? Did I cover everything you expected to hear? Sounds like you believe I can get your home sold, so let's move ahead now.
Where are you reading that from?
Well, I just took a picture of her screen.
The seller objection conversations?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see where you were. So which objection are you reading from? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
That was one,
Oh, okay. Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry.
like 300 bucks.
Uh,
I mean, that doesn't explain the objection. I guess I don't understand.
Well,
I'm not a break.
I think more so than anything, if you or me or anyone is going into an appointment and you may get asked that question, how long have you been doing this? Or they may even go up onto the MLS, search your name prior to you getting there. And they can easily find out how many listings or how many properties you've sold or purchased on behalf of customers or buyers. So I'm curious if that has partly to do with it.
Yeah, and I guess they are searching.
Mhm.
Yeah, so. Should I go ahead and read number 2?
Yeah, that's fine.
I hear you saying you want to be confident. If you were 100% confident in me, you wouldn't bring this up. If you knew I was going to do everything possible you find. The truth is, you can never know that list agreement and know that you can have to be anytime you're not satisfied. Wow. What?
It's-
You myself think that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. And if you think of people in sales who they want you to sign now versus there are those more confident, compassionate who will say, go ahead, take a look around. I'm sure you'll come back to me. And so they'll wait. But you're right. This is the hardcore press to get them to sign. So basically you have them sign and then you go back and, certainly let them know that, hey, if it doesn't work out, you can easily, for lack of better terms, cancel a contract. So. Okay.
I'll sugarcoat it a little more.
Yeah, I think probably best.
Oh my gosh.
But there are those people out there, I will tell you. And we've all met them probably when, any type of sales or shopping or purchase. Yeah, so Okay. Yeah. Right. Right. So out of curiosity, Taylor, out of curiosity, how long have you been doing this?
So I just graduated college.
Yep.
Started in August.
Gotcha. Good. All right. I'll try and, so I've been doing property management since the 90s, and quite honestly, kind of got tired of working for the man, as they say. I want to get out of the corporate world and I want to spend more time doing one-on-one. So I got my license in January, and I was originally working at the Keller Williams in the foothills. I lived in Conifer. But 4 months ago, I moved down to Castle Rock because I bought a ranch, kind of farm and ranch down here in Franktown. So I transferred over here. So I've had a couple listings, a couple closings already as well. John, I don't know. Foothills really, when you say Foothills, it is the Evergreen and the Conifer office. So I was, kind of bouncing back and forth. I'm sure I've seen John, but I don't recognize the name to put a face to it. Oh, gotcha. Yep. And Sandy, where are you from? Oh, yeah. Evergreen office, okay. All right. Good to meet everybody.
How are you liking your ranch?
It was, we thought we were buying a house, but it turned out to be more of a fixer-upper, but I like it, yes. It's nice to have all horses in one place instead of boarding somewhere else. But I'm also getting acclimated to Castle Rock, so I miss the mountains, but it's very, very nice down here too. So, small town.
Cool.
All right, should I do 3? I'll read 3.
Okay.
I can appreciate that there is someone who will work for less, but your agent negotiates for you. If you can't negotiate for their own money, how likely are you to win for you? Negotiation is just one skill I bring to work for you. As we've discussed, I also have a comprehensive marketing plan, a full communication plan, and more that I will provide for the fee I charge. Okay, so that's the objection of dollars and cents. Yeah. Okay. Well, I also think, and this is something that I learned early on, was being new as such. It probably makes them feel better when you can tell them, you know, obviously that you have my full concentration, not like you're telling them, hey, I don't have anything else to do. But yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and then again, obviously talking about the full backing and the people in your office and what Keller Williams brings, so. And I'll do 4 too, because I think there's only 2 of us that kind of have these in front of them. So number 4 is, why won't you reduce your commission? It says, let me ask you, if I would be so quick to give up what is fair compensation for the service I provide to you, how can I be expected to fight for you to get the most for the sale of your house? Which is a good one, good one. Really good. Okay. Anybody thoughts on that one, or are we good?
True, though, you take your time.
Right.
Okay.
Ooh, there's the bell. The 10-minute bell. All right, I guess we're all leaving and going back to the.
In a minute, or you guys can join right away. It's up to
Okay,
you.
nice meeting you too, lady.
Recording in progress.
I guess mute again.
$26 seconds.
Yeah, the reason I want to touch base with you is just how I should attack this. Because they call again, elderly woman, her, and said, I need to know what value is up for my house, because she is looking to move the Chapel Hill, South Carolina, I think they were going to. And basically, she didn't get a lot of information over the phone, but you know, I said, can I do blah, 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 and we finally settled on next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. They leave, she said, Thursday morning. Yeah. So it wasn't a lot of information, but that afternoon I drove by the address. The other problem was it's not in the MLS. Because it's too old. They've been, I want to say they built like 20, 22 years ago. And so I did look up Realist, and ironically enough too, it's funny, as I was driving down the street, the house right across the road is for sale. And I looked up their information, They're selling that house for probably about 1.5 million. It's been on the market close to 2 months.
Yeah,
So,
well, after, like, because we're gonna do more breakouts.
yeah,
Where you guys have to, and you and I will talk.
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So you remember I talked to you guys about the 8x8?
Yeah,
I promised you I'd show you what it is.
yeah.
This is what the 8x8 is, but if it's someone that's looking to do it right away, I wouldn't, this is like for someone you're just putting in your database that you just added before you put them on a smart plan. So it's 8 touches in 8 weeks. But if this is someone who wants to sell or buy right away, implement this like in a week. Does this make sense?
Yep.
I just promised you I'd show it to you, so I wanted to make sure I did that.
It's an example
Thank you.
of item of value.
A drop-off item of value could be, you bought them a cupcake,
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Like it's
Anything.
something-
like a Popeye is what they're talking about. Okay, so let me stop share, let's move on. Someone chatted, let me see what it was said. Oh, Bill Brandon, I saw it come up on the screen, okay. All right, so let's get to the thing. All right. We already did, oh, shoot. We practiced that script, right? Does anyone have any questions or want to share anything that came out from doing that?
Well, we kind of thought those answers were kind of confrontive and maybe a little bit argumentative. They're pretty harsh. Like, I don't think I would use them.
I agree with you. So you got to make them in your own words, but they want to kind of give you an idea of what to say. But there's some agents who will. You know what I'm saying? Who do you know in your office that's super to the point and they don't beat around the bush? Kevin Wilson. He will not make it soft. He will not make it soft and fluffy for you. He's one of the very few people I could see saying those things. Am I wrong?
I don't know him that well, but based on the class we took yesterday, I would agree with that statement.
He's a super nice guy. Val's unbelievable. Their daughters are great. He's very nice and very close to his family. But when it comes to business, it's to the point, no fluffiness. And he'll tell you that. I'm not fluffy. So it just depends on who's saying it. So just make it your own, okay? So what's your call of action today? What are you guys gonna practice today when we're off?
Oh.
Making a buyer and seller consultation packet.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
probably keep working on my MLS search for my lead, my one lead that I'm nurturing.
That's okay.
And then I've got 3 phone calls to make.
Well, we could do that during our time we have. The 30 minutes, it's supposed to be 45, but I cut it short.
Yeah.
All right. Any other ahas? Has any of your thinking changed?
I'm just as excited as I was yesterday because now I want a seller and a buyer like Becky. But I gotta go get them. I gotta go find them. So
Mhm. And that's why we make you guys do what at the end of every Ignite section?
call.
Legion.
Legion. Sorry,
Legion.
wrong word.
That's okay. Do you feel differently about anything after this class than you did before you attended?
I need to get my rear in gear and do the command opportunities. I just haven't done that yet. Command is lacking for me because I've been so strangely busy. So,
Okay. Have you done any of my boyfriend's videos?
no, I have not.
So,
For those of you who don't know who my boyfriend is, it's Marty Miller.
Yeah.
Make sure you do those. They're so fast. They're like, some of them are like 3 minutes. I think the longest is like 10. Do one a day. Make that one of your goals for the day. It will really help you get better at command. Okay. How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take?
Command.
I
Be
did,
prepared.
yeah, be prepared. I did.
And if you're not, like I said, and attend the stupid trainings. That's what they're here for. And not just trainings, but meetings. Like I said, we're always dumbfounded that it's always the successful agents that attend everything. And there is a correlation. So if you want to be successful, you need to start attending these things. That's just the reality, because then you know what's going on in the market, you know the lingo, right? And you can sound intelligent when you're talking to people. And not trying to figure it out when you have a contract to write.
Hey.
Well, no, I mean, you have no idea what I've seen, people that don't come at all.
Oh.
And then they try to write a contract, and it's basically I'm writing it for them because they have no idea. It's frustrating. So don't be one of those people, or I'll be cussing at you. What tools, models, or systems will you use? How will they make you accountable? We've already talked about command. Is there anything else? Okay. We're talking about the daily success system. You guys kind of know what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this every single day?
Really?
All right.
I don't think I've seen this before.
What's that?
This daily success.
Oh, you're being sarcastic. I'm like, what? I was gonna say you might want to check your meds there. All right. How many times have you guys heard about the do not call list? Have you all subscribed to the registry yet?
Not yet.
Make sure you do. You can
Got
keep
it.
yourself out of jail. Who wants to do the reading this time? We're gonna make Jeff do it.
Oh, wait.
It's okay, you can just talk and they'll hear
Oh,
you.
okay, so I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship. Oh, that's wrong. To be
Yeah,
in
it should be.
to be in a relationship with me.
That's your mindset, right?
Yep.
So just go in there thinking that, right? And like I said, think about me dancing like an idiot at weddings. Who cares? Right? If you know what you're talking about and people are judging you, it doesn't matter. Put yourself out there.
Got it.
All right, now we're supposed to be doing role play, but what I want to do first is I promised Taylor I would show you guys. Actually, do the role play, and when we come back, we're not going to do it for the entire 20 minutes that they want.
Yay.
When we come back, you guys just did some. So when we come back, I'm going to go through what I do, okay?
Okay.
Let me pull up that script. So many people don't ever have the scripts in front of them. All right, so it would be page, you tell me which one you want me to have up. Because they said either to use C24, which I went too far, or C18. So here is C18. And I'll show you C24. You guys decide which one you want to practice. Personally, I think it should be 24, but
Oh,
I'll let
yeah,
you guys-
24. definitely.
Okay. This is for staging objections. What are you saying over there, 24, Brandon?
24.
Okay, good. That's what I think too.
24.
All right, so let me share, I'll get back to this. I'm gonna share my screen. For those of you who don't have it up, there it is. Can you see it?
Yep.
Oh, wait, wrong
No,
thing.
that's the plan that's here.
Dear God. Very good. All right. Well, I'm Catholic. You can't see that.
Yeah, I get it.
All right,
Who pays for our staging?
here it is. I think. There we go.
Can I ask a question real quick before we do this?
Yeah.
Who pays for staging?
So again, remember we talked about expectations?
Yeah,
So it depends.
thank
So
you.
like, if I have a client who is paying me less, like it's a previous Redfin person or something, and we negotiate down, I'm not paying for any of that. What I do offer is a contact to have a consultation. And then they pay that person by the hour, right?
Okay.
Otherwise, you can say that in your listing presentation, that I will provide you with like 1 hour of a staging professional. And they will use what you have. You guys aren't going to have a bunch of stuff. Or find a stager who can actually bring, usually it's organization. I don't know if you guys agree, usually, unless it's like from the 1980s. And you can just have someone come in and just make it look nicer.
Okay.
With what they have. But if not, then you need to find a stager and just say, I'll provide you with 1 hour.
Okay.
Anything above that, you pay for. Or 2 hours, right? However
Alright.
you want to do it. Okay?
Cool. Thank you.
Mhm. All right, let me do my breakout. Hold on, guys, I'm very sorry. I can't see the whole screen to even do the breakout. There we go, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay. See you in 10 minutes. Here, you can see it now, right? Yeah, so that they're saying, why is it important? Or do we really have to do this repair? Or why can't we just sell the house as is? You need to have scripts ready to go. Especially the as is one, because homes were selling as is a little bit ago, but not really anymore. I mean, have the conversation about condition matters. That's what I would say. But I'm gonna stop talking. This is for you guys. Okay, you guys practicing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a, I don't see why this is so. My answers to why some suppliers have their own homes and not see the potential of the space. So how your home is right now, it can be a potential home by having stages in or or sofas, stuff like that. And way that kind of gives you a better position in the room and it's a lot more potential of the space. And then their answer was, if we want to sell faster, money, self-restricting and how.
You know, I would add, I think it's important, especially as you see more inventory becoming available. For example, I have a listing appointment on Wednesday and I was telling Tracy that ironically, right across the drive or right across the street, you're staring at another house that's for sale. So not that there's so much similar, but it is interesting that you are competing within that same neighborhood.
Yeah, so we just did a tour Evergreen, maybe Concord area, that a house tour of the listing. It's so much fun to see. And so it's important inside and out, I think, stage.
Agreed.
Yeah, one house we walked up to, you know, maybe it was trash day. I felt like it was a bunch of trash. And they're really big, so.
Right. Yeah, as Tracy said, it's no longer selling as is. I've seen listing pictures where they have their boxes and they're in the midst of packing their kitchen that they posted on MLS. And again, that, you know, kind of goes to say about that whole as is, and there wasn't a market or things were selling so quickly, you know, 2-3 months ago, but that has certainly changed.
Right. Some people don't have a vision, I guess.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's really cool. I have a fire house with the whole packaging that looks like trash. I'm like, might as well almost look these photos because some people don't have the sense to see through that, and it's kind of a waste of time to bring them to it and get them to smell the best, then talk to the time to pay for it.
Agreed.
Is there more on that? Yeah, do we really have to make this repair?
And it goes on to read, we can sell it just the way it is, but it's likely to take longer and we probably won't get as much money. My recommendation is to have it repaired so that we can get the best price possible in the shortest amount of time. The choice is yours. What would you like to do? Make the repair or take longer to sell?
I'm waiting for it.
Right.
You kind of know. Now, the number 3 is why can't we sell the house?
I'll read that one too. It says, would you prefer to pay a few $100s to paint your room, or do you prefer to deduct $500 to $1,000 from the sales price? Since buyers use outstanding repairs to negotiate a lower price, it's usually in your best interest to make repairs rather than have to negotiate with the buyer. Makes sense. Well, and I think you hear all the time, what are you looking for? The price, or do you need to get out of there immediately? So, I mean, that's the battle you'll have.
The other thing to keep in mind is always about the market.
Yeah,
So when I had that listing in Aurora, he literally had sculptured brown carpeting. And he's like, well, I can't list until after I clean it.
mhm,
Cleaning it isn't gonna add any more value, correct?
right,
So I'm like, they're gonna replace this, so either you replace it.
Yeah.
Or, you just leave it. And we had 13 offers, but the market was different.
right,
Nowadays, I would really push them to replace it.
Right.
Back then, I'm like, he's in his 80s, he's going to assisted living. I don't want to mess with
Yeah.
this. It's not worth it.
right, right.
So I think it depends on the market. All right,
I think we're good.
I think I'm gonna close all rooms a little early, like 2 minutes early, but that's okay. It takes 60 seconds anyway.
Okay.
Recording in progress.
Ooh, it's my cue. Let's see.
I think you want a projector, you don't have to be in your room.
We're back.
Hello. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys this because I kept talking about the intelligent pricing and timing sheet. This is something you should have with your CMA. You can even put it in your listing presentation and have it with your CMA. But I think it shows them right away, kind of about intelligent pricing and how much you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Like I said, it won't. What's that?
Where is that page?
I don't know where it's at. I stole it from somebody. Again, if you want, I can have it sent to you guys. I'll send it to Margaret and Jody. You don't have to take the whole thing. Either do it right now, do a screenshot on your computer,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
and then you can go in and alter it.
How do you do that on a Mac?
I don't know, Matt.
So first you go to
Control Shift
Dell.com.
4.
Oh, you stop. So you go Command Shift, the number 4.
Oh, what?
Did it work?
Wait, Command Shift number 4.
4.
It didn't work.
Okay, see how your cursor changed?
And then you have to drag a box.
Wow,
Oh, look at
looks like
that.
you.
Gotcha. All right.
I'll send you the bill.
She's young, she knows all the
knows
tricks.
all these tricks.
And all the young ones are Macs, like my daughter right now. Right, Taylor? Everyone wants Macs your age.
Yes.
I'm like, she's a sophomore in high school, she's gonna bring it to school, it's gonna get stolen. I told her no. You're getting like a Chromebook, dude, for $300. That's it. All right. When she goes to college, then I'll get that. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn you guys.
Where does it go?
What?
I asked Taylor where it goes because I did the select.
It goes to your desktop
Well,
Oh, gotcha.
unless you've altered it to go somewhere else, but it goes to my desktop
Okay.
or it'll be in like your Finder.
oh, that's right.
I found it. Thanks.
So in the older version of the Max, you can actually specify when you take the shot.
I don't use Mac. I just don't.
For these reasons.
All right, so I promised I would show what mine looks like. And this is part of my listing presentation, plus we have a CMA portion, okay? I didn't, if I would have pulled up my other stuff, I would have lost you. You guys wouldn't have seen the script, but I will try to find it. Here is, remember I talked to you about a mission? Doesn't have to be anything super fancy. Right? It's very generic. Oh, God. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Here is an area you're getting to know us. Okay? Nothing fancy, very generic, remember? I talked a little bit about Keller Williams. Finding your buyer. Then I go through the marketing system. Make sure what you put in here is what you're going to do. Okay. We talk about like how we do social media, everything else. When it's on the market, oh gosh, sorry. When it's on the market, these are the things I will do. Right? This one I think is good because it shows, because a lot of people don't understand how Zillow gets the information. So they act like, well, this person's going to put me on Redfin and Zillow and Trulia. All any of those companies do is they scrape the MLS. That's what they're doing. If there's no magic, you can add to other things, but just shows you all the places that the property will be listed. Okay. Here's the promise. And then I make them have a promise. Okay. I did the Girl Scouts because I just thought it was funny because I was a Girl Scout. Oh my God, I will try to figure out again. Anyway. Talk about the app. The bottom line. Right? And then I just add the contact information. That's it for my listing presentation. And this is on my app is seamless. That's on the listing presentation in Command. You can see how much I decreased it, right? So I just wanted to share that with you. And then, so that's one part of it, right? Then what I do is I have the CMA portion. So let me show you. Hold on. You guys have a minute? Do you really want to see this or should I just move on?
No, I want to see it. Is there anyone
Okay.
else? If it's just me, I can touch base with you later.
I need to get to the shared with me. Sorry, I'm pulling it up because I couldn't do it while you guys were on. All right, hold on. All right, I'm going to share with you right now. I got it up. You guys can see what I'm doing because that's honestly the most important part. Would you guys all agree?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's the part they're going to be going for.
Yep. This is everything that I include. And this is not my final list, but I just wanted to put it up fast without me having to really search. And then what happens is I have a folder. I put the marketing plan of action, which is the listing presentation, in there. Then I include, and I have this all bound nicely. Then I have the CMA portion all bound nicely. And it's in a folder. Okay, but everyone has their own way of doing this, okay? So what your way might not be wrong. You just find what works for you.
Hmm.
These are things that you like talk about. Estimated net sheets, you can provide those. Let me see if I can find the other thing. Okay, hold on one second. These were just notes. I apologize. I have our actual list here somewhere. Everything. I think it's all in here. Hold on. There we go. Find it. I apologize, guys. Let me get to the one, there is one for a seller, but I'd have to pull it up. It's so weird. You know, when you're, I'm in now that I need to find it, I can't find it. I hate when that happens. Let's see here. Current listing. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to share this with you. Remember I told you I have a listing checklist? This is it. Because it'll help you guys get an idea. And you see it. Make sure you have the map too. That was another thing we put in there.
A map of what? The area?
So when you go into, yeah, when you go into the MLS and you're printing the
Oh.
single page, you can
Yeah,
also do like a map view.
yeah, okay.
Does that help?
Yeah.
So every time I do a listing presentation, and I have the same thing here for a buyer on the other end, I have a checklist. Remember I told you I don't do the pre-listing, I do the Google form?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like very, it's the
Why
same
not
thing
a-
every single time.
Why not
What's that?
why not a smart plan?
Because I think the timing's wrong, like a lot of times, right?
Okay,
So why would you do a smart plan if you have an appointment? Right? but you don't know where they're at in the transaction part of it. A smart plan is for someone you're nurturing. This is someone who's ready to use you, and you're going to the listing presentation. So see on the right, it says completed stage. That's pre-listing appointment stage. Then it's ready to sign. These are the documents I need. Let me go down more.
I'm drawing a blank, what is DBS?
Contract to buy sell.
Contract.
And then seller's property disclosure, right? And then you put notes to yourself. Right? You're under contract, you're sending all these emails. I mean, I can show you kind of what I do for the buyers too. Gretchen worked on this one. I put the exact email title on mine. Like I said, I just can't. I think because I'm under pressure. Does that help you guys at all?
Mhm.
Anyone have questions?
Is that a sheet you could actually share with us?
Proprietary
Okay, that's a
information.
good answer.
If you want, I can print it out for you so you can see what I do.
Why would that be proprietary?
I'm teasing, I made it.
Oh. I was like, what?
Hold on. I'd have to ask Gretchen because her and I have done all this together.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do anything until I talk to her. Because it's taken, you guys have no idea how long it takes to get this all going.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you're hitting everything. I just don't understand where my buyer stuff is. Hold on. You're under contract. Nope, nope. Nope. There we go. I think this is where I just was though, it's not there. But usually what I do is I have like a folder for buyers. And then I have them all listed. What if I didn't put it in here? Do you guys at least get the idea?
Mhm.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. So here's one closed on. But if you look, I mean, I even noted like, see, sent buyer side under contract 1, that email. Remember I told you guys I have templates for all this? So that's what I send out every single time at certain stages. So this is what I mean by you can't really do any of these things in a smart plan. This is all stuff transactional. A smart plan is more for nurturing. You get what I mean?
Well, I'm just looking at the smart plan, and the smart plan, you can put tasks and such in the steps. So I look at a smart plan and I see a workflow. I don't see just nurturing. Most of the plans out there for nurturing, definitely. But I'm wondering if I can't streamline some of the work I'm doing now. So if I if I know that these 5 steps have to be done in order,
You
right?
can do it for yourself as a task for yourself, but I will tell you the timing will be off. And then the other thing is, so like I work on a team with someone, right? So I want her to be able to see what I'm doing. Right? So let's say you work with a TC. You can share these documents with your TC and make sure they're actually completing stuff. All right? I should probably move on because it took me so long to find this stinking thing. Okay, So we did the role play. Does that answer your question, Taylor? Okay, good. I hope so. If you guys, feel free to call me anytime, even though I'm not your PC. I mean, I'm Jeff's, but I can answer questions for you. You're supposed to be preparing your list. You guys have a list of people you want to call.
Yep.
I would hope you came prepared, so I'm not gonna make you do that. I've heard a lot of people say they don't have enough contacts. Look through your list again. Look at your phone. Look at your Facebook. Send a message. Right? Get creative. Call some vendors, because remember I told you how important it is to have that list? All right. Okay, we're gonna say our affirmation once more together. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. Okay. All right, now what do you guys want to do? Half hour, 20 minutes? You tell me. We're almost at the end.
To sign up, I have 4.
I'm gonna do 30 minutes.
Okay,
So, take 30 minutes and do your calls, lead gen activities at least. And we'll come back and talk, okay?
okay.
All right, Jeff, let me mute. Today, yeah. She's coming in tomorrow. Oh, wait, hold on, I'm on the wrong. All right, guys, how did it go? What's wrong? There's only 2 of you still on, or 3 of you. Oh, you're muted. So how did it go?
I think Brandon is still on his call. Sandy stepped away. Mine went fine.
Well, that's good. Any leads or any appointments?
Nope. I am chasing this one friend of mine down. And then on top of that, I got 2 that ghosted me. That really ticks me off.
Oh, that happens all the time too. Don't take it personal.
Like, come on, guys.
They'll still come around. Like if they need anything, it doesn't matter if they ghost you. Because they could have taken a break and they're just not talking to you, but might, you know what I mean, come back to you.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, wait, I don't have my video on, so you're like
Nope.
talking to.
You don't have your video on.
There we go. How about you, Sandy? How did you do?
I did pretty good. Everybody must be at work, but I left messages and texts and I talked to one person.
That's all right. Just keep going. And Brandon, I think, might be on a call, so I'm not gonna
And
worry about it.
I've been adding it into my system as I do it.
Good job. Even if you don't have all the information, that's my point. Right? Because
I
then
have
when, if
very
you,
little.
well, and that's okay, because then when you talk to them again, if you get a hold of them, I always pull that person up in command and see if I have anything missing. And then I add it. I'll be like, oh, you know what? I wanted to send you something, but I don't have this. Right? And
Yeah.
property addresses are easy. Just go in Realist and type their name.
Yeah, that's what Jody was saying. So I'll have to start creeping on everyone.
Yeah, oh, it's fun creeping. That's like one of my faves.
Yeah.
I don't know if Brandon has something to
Well,
say.
I'm still on. I'm trying to follow up with someone I reached out to last, a couple days ago. Ex coworker wants to meet for lunch one day. So basically emailed her back, sent a couple other text messages, found out one of my coworker died, getting kind of sick of hearing that, but
Oh, Brandon, I'm sorry.
I wasn't somebody I knew very well. I mean, it's been worse. It was someone that directly worked for me in 2021 that found out on Monday morning. He passed away on Saturday, but
Sorry.
whatever. So, yeah, so, yeah, just trying to reach out a couple things, probably go to an improv thing tonight, send an email to or text to a guy that I might meet up with tonight. So just trying to nail down some times and places.
Yeah. Well, keep going, guys. Keep plugging. You only have one more session left with me, I believe. I
Really?
think that's it.
Hang on, let's look. Let me get the magic chart out. Yep, only one.
I know.
It's the biggie too. It's not
Which
It's
one is
not
that
a
one? I
tiny-
forgot.
negotiating.
Oh, yeah, that's my fave though. Like Gretchen always makes fun of me because I actually enjoy it and she hates it. So it
Well.
works out.
Well, next Thursday. Uh-huh. Better
We'll
bring
see.
that A game.
I know, hopefully I'll be able to speak. Every once in a while, I'm like, bloop, bloop, like I feel like my tongue is like swollen because I can't talk. All right, guys, well, it's been fun. Keep working hard. You guys are kicking butt.
We're trying.
All right, bye.
Bye. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
You too.